Hello again, Helen here with Valley Viewfinders Camera Club, and as promised I am doing another video on resizing. This is the second in our series and I will be doing this in Lightroom today. And I am going to assume that if you've chosen to use Lightroom that you already know a little bit about it and how to at least get your images into the program. If you do not, please send us a comment or an email at valleyviewfinders.com under Contact Us, and the webmaster would be great. I'll answer your questions there. So, second thing I want to mention is I'm working from a PC. And third and foremost is please use images that you've already copied or duplicated. Don't be working from your original. You don't want to accidentally save over it and then not have that original to make nice, beautiful, big prints from. So with that said, let's get going. I'm going to work from my little grid view so I can see all my images, and I'm going to work on the portrait size image, the landscape image first. And let's go down here to export. And it'll bring up a dialog box here. I usually always save it on my hard drive. And you'll want to navigate to the folder that you're going to save this image to. Mine I'm putting into a folder called Demo LR, stands for Lightroom. You can put these in subfolders if you want, that's your choice. I don't do that. I did it earlier when I was putting everything in there for my video pictures, so I knew right where they were going and that they wouldn't get messed up with this one I'm doing now. Now going on down here to file naming, I am going to say rename to, so I want to check this little box, and you have different ones you can pick in here. I pick, for this instance, custom name, and the file name format I want you to do is you won first, second, or third in our competition, so you're going to start out with that. It was either in a theme or open category, small or large, the first and last name of the person who did it, initials of our camera club, and then the name of your picture. So there's no question at all that this image goes in which category, by whom, and the name. And they get up so much faster. They're already resized when I get them, and life is great. So I'm not going to rename this. It will go ahead and probably tell me I've already done this when I go to export it, but that's okay. You'll get the gist here. File settings, make sure it's a JPEG. Color space is sRGB. Please do not send them to me in ProPhoto RGB. They're just too big. The files get bigger. We don't need it on the website. You only need that for print. Now going on down to image sizing, keep the box checked resize to fit. Choose width and height in the drop down, and keep the box checked do not enlarge. Now for our landscape image, all I'm concerned about for our web and to view on our screen or monitor is to change the image to 1024. Now that resizes in pixels. That's exactly what we want. Keep the height, I just delete that out. You don't even need a 0 in there. Now we don't even have to worry about the resolution. And I do have a side-by-side comparison on our website if you want to check that out. Changing the resolution does not change the size of the image, and it may make the file a little bit smaller, but all I'm concerned about is changing the pixel dimensions. Now coming on down here to output, I sharpen for the screen and I just choose standard. Now it's up to you if you want to attach any metadata, your watermark if you already have that set up. And I choose to do nothing after import. I don't want it to open up in anything or go to CS3. So I say do nothing, so then I can move on to my next one. And I will say that you can set this up so you can do this all with a preset. So you just hit that preset, it fills in your information, you change one or two little key things, say in your file naming, and export. Now let's see what happens when I hit export if I've already saved this item. So I must not have continued through with my save. So that one is done. Now let's move on to this portrait image before we hit the square one. This one is sized a little bit differently, so click on the portrait and export. Now I'm still going to put this in the same folder. So now I'm going to go down to custom naming. I'm just going to change this a little bit. It'll pick up whatever you put in there last. So make sure you always change it so that it's correct. Now I'm not going to worry about changing anything else just to save time. But if it was a theme, you would change to theme and then the size. And then the last one here, we'll just name this one Dangle, since it was a bunch of earrings dangling off a little tree. And that's it on there. Now let's scroll on down. And remember, this is a portrait image, so I do not want to have anything in the width. We don't want to resize the width. But in the portraits, we want to stick with our dimensions of 768 because that's what most of our monitors can view a tall image at without scrolling around on the page to see the entire thing. Again, I'm not worried about the resolution, and your choice, fill in your watermark and all that if you want, and export. Now let's go to the square image because this one is different, and as I did in Photoshop, it works the same way. Same thing here. I'm going to my folder. Let's get down here to the file naming. I'm just going to change this. I'm not going to worry about the size or where it's going. I mean, as far as the theme or category and the placing, we're just going to name this in square so I don't have duplicate files here. Now come back down here to the file image sizing, and these will remain checked. That's fine. But if I was to change this according to the width of my monitor from the left to the right, it would fit within that dimension, but then it would be too tall for my monitor, since my monitor can only see 768 pixels from top to bottom. It would be 300 pixels too tall. So if that makes any sense to you. So let's go ahead and stick with our height always on our square or almost square images, and then there shouldn't be any issue with those displaying beautifully on our website. Now again, all this information's up to you. I'm going to export that image. We are done. Those images are now ready to send in the email. You shouldn't have any problems with those images being too big to send all of them at one time. Well, let me restate that. If you send 25 or 30 at one time, maybe. But for our club, you know, at the most you're sending maybe 5 or 6 at a time. So I hope this little demo helped you out a little bit on resizing in Lightroom. And if you have any questions at all, please let us know in our club, in a comment on YouTube, or go ahead and go to our website and leave us an email, and we'll see if we can answer your questions. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you will always have access to those videos as we add them to the site. And once again, thanks for listening to me ramble on, and I guess that's it. Thanks for watching.